Welcome. I'm not sure which is harder to believe, that we've done nearly 50 of these, or that it is 2.5 years since we were last together in Manchester. I'm Keith Mitchell, UKNOF Forum Chair. Before we start today, I just want to run you through a few pieces of information. It's not the usual boring stuff for me. There are a whole bunch of things that have changed since the last time. We're still here to try and make the UK Internet work better. I think over the past couple of years, the UK Internet has functioned extremely well. I think everyone in this room should take some pride in that. And we're here to try and distribute clue about how to make the Internet work better and not distribute virus in the process. So it's our first hybrid event. As I'm sure those of you who drive hybrid vehicles are aware, the diagram is simple, the operation, there's a lot more detail to worry about and consider. We're going back to our usual live webcast format, so most of the people who are joining us are not joining via Zoom for once, so that's great. We'll be using the Mattermost chat platform that we've been using for over a year now. If you didn't sign up for it, I recommend that you do so, even if you're in person and certainly if you're remote. There's a general channel which is bridged to IRC for general discussion. We will also be doing polls on that for speaker feedback. And there's a separate channel if you're not in the room and you're attending remotely and you want to ask speakers questions, then there's a separate channel which you need to sign up for so that you can post your questions there. And please only post questions on that channel and keep the general discussion towards the general chat channel. At the end of the presentation, the Mattermost poll will pop up, and that's your chance to give feedback on the speakers, which both the speakers and the program committee find very useful. We're on the usual social media channels. Hashtag is #UKNOF48. Hopefully you've all found the Wi-Fi. There is the SSID and PSK if you don't have them. Break, lunch and toilet locations, as usual. The break will be in the charter foyer behind us. The toilets are out the door there and to your left. In the event that there is a fire alarm, you will see emergency exits at the back and the right-hand side of the room. If you head out that way in the event of an alarm and go to the assembly point, is the central foyer. On badges, if you need any help, you will see that there is a crew marker on the badges for anyone who's a UKNOF volunteer or committee member. If you need help, or go to the registration desk. We also have some first-timers. Welcome. I'm sure you will all make the first-timers welcome. Their badges are also appropriately marked. And again, if you're a first-timer and you're feeling a bit lost, you need some help, then go speak to the registration desk. So what's different? Well, it's been an interesting 21 months for all of us. We've kept the lights on at UKNOF through virtual events. They've not been so good at raising money for us. So I'm afraid there are some things at this meeting that are different because of the pandemic, and there are some things at this meeting that are different because we need to save costs and preserve our funds to keep the organisation going into next year. If you paid for a box lunch at registration, your name is on a list at the catering stand, so just ask the catering staff, and there are some options there in case you have any dietary requirements. So again, speak to the catering staff. And I'm afraid that there's a few things that we do usually do that we're not doing this time around. There's no iPadless probe distribution, there's no PGP signing session, there is no creche. Hopefully we can get back to these as we proceed into next year. So, one thing that is important to understand is how we're doing questions, because we're not passing microphones around like we used to in the physical events. We're not doing it via the Zoom Q&A window like we've been doing for the past year and a half. If you're a remote attendee, then the way that you ask questions is to go into the Mattermost UKNOF48 questions channel and then type your question, and then the Q&A monitor will read that question out for you. If you're in the room and you want to ask a question, we have a question microphone here, so please line up at that to the right, and the session chair will prompt you when to speak. And then a reminder, whoever you are, if you're asking questions, for the benefit of everybody on the webcast, please state your name and affiliation. And the questions will be time permitted, but there's 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each slot for that. Also, the other thing is there is some time lag on the webcast. I think it's maybe about 20 seconds or so between what's going on the online world and what's happening in the physical room here. So if everyone can just be a little bit patient and bear with that. So, pandemic safety. We have a UKNOF respect policy, and in general, our audience and participants are extremely well behaved. Applies both offline and online. We can have respectful discussions about VI versus Emacs. I'm sure we can have respectful discussions about Pfizer versus Moderna, whatever. But just understand that not everybody's perspective and comfort level with where we are may be the same as yours, and please pay attention to the respect policy which you agreed to when you signed up to attend the meeting. Everyone in the building has been required to show proof of vaccination to get in. We've spaced the seating out, as you can see. The venue has made some upgrades to its airflow since the last time we were here. I mean, usually we would have 250 odd people in this room, we're maybe 100, which is a lot more than we're expecting. It's really good that you've all come here. But no mitigation is 100% effective. So we encourage you all to wear masks as much as possible. And the venue has also requested and recommended that at some point, either if you didn't do it this morning, at some point today or tomorrow, you take a lateral flow test just to make sure that you're pandemic safe. If you exhibit symptoms within a week of this event, please let us know and follow the appropriate public health guidelines for testing positive or showing symptoms that apply to where you live. We're not doing any badge or lanyard recycling. It's probably best if you just take your badges and lanyards away with you at the end of the meeting so that we don't finish up with a big heap of these to dispose of. So we also know we've all been a bit starved of human contact over the past year and a half. So we've actually programmed longer breaks than we normally would so that you get a chance to catch up with everybody you haven't seen. But also just appreciate that everyone's comfort level is different. Again, please respect that. There are stickers available at registration to express your comfort level with whether you want to keep away from people or whether you're okay with fist bumps or whether you're actually okay with shaking hands. There's another chance to socialise at the end of today, pints and packets, between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. Again, in the gallery foyer, name badges required. So that is basically all the administrative stuff. I will now hand you over to the actual content. Marek Kozalski is our session chair for this afternoon, and Marek will be introducing the first speakers. Just before Marek takes over, I'd like to thank our sponsors. The sponsor for this event is LANAP, once again, and a lot of individuals also, thank you, made a contribution towards the event. But also, what's even more important is our patrons who've supported us throughout the year, and that's Flex Optics, IPv4 Market Group, Right NCC at premium level, and then at promoter level, we have ISC, Security, and also now Hilco have joined. And thanks to Bogons, our partner for the webcast, and Portfast for providing the upstream connectivity for this event. So I will now hand you over to Marek and our speakers.